housing starts getting knocked down today. The number of new homes under construction rose less than expected in April, up just 1.6% compared to the expected 3.1% month-over-month increase. Also, building permits fell more than expected, dropping 4.7% compared to the estimated drop of 1.2%. And on top of all of that, the National Association of Home Builders Sentiment Index fell by 6 points in May to the lowest reading since December of 2022. It's all doom and gloom. The Wall Street Journal characterizing the housing market in blunt fashion. The headline reading, "The spring home sales season is shaping up to be a dud." Oh, wonderful. So where does the housing market go from here? A lot of people would like to know. We're going to ask Century 21 CEO Mike Miedler, who's here to answer it. Mike, it's been a tough go, but has the spring selling season been a dud?
Not yet, Ashley. I think, for the last couple of years, we've been talking about, obviously, these elevated rates and affordability. And I think, let me give you a little bit of good news, because I think we might be setting up now for this busy spring selling season to put a little bit more buyer confidence out there. Yes, from a year-over-year perspective, year-to-date, we're kind of either at or about below where we were from a units perspective. But I will tell you that mortgage applications for purchase are up since February. They're up double digits at the beginning of May. And I will say from an inventory perspective, if you think about it, we're now up 33% from an inventory perspective across the country. And we just last week, first week of May, crossed that golden bridge of 80,000 new listings that came on the market, something we haven't seen in quite some time. And, when you hit the affordability issue, you talk about price. This is an interesting fact that just in the first 2 weeks here of May, we've seen contracts that are pending actually dip from a price perspective, and about 37% of the properties and listings that are out there are taking a price cut. So it might set up for a little bit more confidence as people are going out there this weekend to look at homes.
So as more homes come to the market and prices cool off a little bit, is it a buyer's market? Do sellers have to give more concessions?
I think we are seeing a little bit more of that. I mean, and again, this is all dependent upon your location. So you really got to do your research. Places like Texas, Florida, North Carolina, where a lot of those builders have been over the last couple of years, and we've seen a lot of migration to. You probably have more inventory on the market, probably have a little bit more room for negotiation. But still in the Northeast where I'm at, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, you still have stubborn inventory. And I think you got to be ready to make a quick entrance and a quick bid on a house and really hold your ground on what you're looking to get.
I read somewhere, I think, Mike, and I don't know if this is still true, but maybe the best deal is from builders who have built homes. Their inventory has risen because the market has cooled off, and they're willing to do some deals, maybe even some upgrades at no extra charge. Do you think that's true?
So, some upgrades. We're also seeing some breaks and buy downs on mortgage rates. So I think it's, again, important to make sure that you have a great real estate professional that knows that market, that knows what the builders and that inventory is willing to do, and get in there and negotiate, because I do think that there is a little bit more power, as you said, in the buyer's pocket right now in the busy spring selling season.
I want to ask you about first-time home buyers. Still a very tough go for this group. They're having a hard time getting the down payment. Mortgage rates still up there close to 7%. I mean, when do you think that could ease up and we could see more first-time home buyers coming to the market?
It goes back to the point you made earlier, Ashley, is that we just need to continue to get more supply. You're right. First-time home buyers have really been taking a hit in the marketplace right now. It's down to like 24% of the market, which is generally first-time home buyers are 30% of the market. They've been resilient. You see the median age of first-time home buyers really rising, 38 years old. That's the oldest we've ever seen. And they're getting 9% on their down payment. Now, a lot of times that's coming from the bank of mom and dad, but I just want to dispel the myth. A lot of people think you need 20% down. That's not necessarily the case, right? So make sure you're aligned with a good mortgage professional or somebody who can understand how much house you can afford. That also said, we're seeing people get creative. We're seeing a lot more multi-generational households being formed in the first-time homebuyer category, whether that's with mom or dad or grandma. any way to get in there and get that dream of home ownership here in this country.
Does all of this change, Mike, if we can get those mortgage rates down and the Fed will start cutting rates and we get away from 7%? And I mean, they were ridiculously low back in the day, but would that be the catalyst?
Yeah, I mean, and I also think actually it also causes more demand, right? So, I mean, there is this equilibrium. I do also believe that it creates more confidence for all of those builders and developers that you mentioned earlier, that, you know, they're going to get home buyers into the marketplace that will cause them to continue to build and put the product out there. So I know the administration's after it. I'd love to see it from a housing perspective, and I think it creates more affordability.
I think we all would. We'll have to leave it there. But, Mike, thank you so much. Great stuff. Really informative.
Appreciate
Thank you,
you,
sir.
Ashley. Have a great day.